And we're back on the Backroad Radio Show, and I'm your host, Andrew Funke, and we have live in the studio our special guest for this week, Miss Megan Bernard. She is our new honorary member of the Backroad Radio Show crew, and she's going to be based, or she is based in New Orleans, Louisiana, but she's up here visiting us right now, and we're going to talk to her a little bit about what she's up to and what's coming up. So, Megan, welcome to the Backroad Radio Show.
Thank you, thank you. Hello, listeners.
Well, Megan, you're our not only a new member of the Backroad Radio Show crew, but you're also going to be our spokesmodel. We're going to be doing some cross-promotional work with you. And one of the things I wanted to dive into in talking with you about this was you're working with Maxim. It's the Maxim Hometown Hotties. I know you're representing New Orleans. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Correct. I am representing New Orleans for Maxim Hometown Hotties. It's my first year. I went through my first competition in the voting stage. I just made my audition video and sent it in, so I'm waiting on the results from that. And I should hear something in between June 27th and August 1st for the next voting series.
Nice. Now, if people want to follow that, where can they find it? Is there a Maxim website, something like that they can go to?
Yes, MaximHometownHotties.com. You can check out Week 3, Megan Bernard, under New Orleans. You can also go to Facebook and Twitter and check me out there and follow it. I'll be posting links to each voting.
Awesome. Cool, because we'll be following up actually later in the interview with more of your specifics on contact information and that sort of thing. So guys,
so all you guys better go vote for me.
There you go. And stay tuned if you want to vote for her. We'll be sending out Megan's information on Facebook and Twitter here very soon. Now, Megan, I know that you had mentioned as we were just kind of getting ready for the interview that you worked on a movie recently. I mean, you're not only an aspiring model, but you're an aspiring actress, and that you worked on a movie with Robert De Niro and 50 Cent.
Yes,
tell us a little bit about that one.
What an experience, first off. Both mad respect for both actors, especially Robert De Niro. He's a beast.
That's what I hear.
He is. He's
very
cool.
This movie was called It's Freelancers.
Yes, it's a New Orleans-based movie. It's about some cops, and that's about all I can tell you. You'll have to watch it, and it should be out in the next year. So I
was going to ask, are they working on the same team together? But I don't say because we want people to go see it.
Yeah,
so.
You just got to go tune in.
Very cool.
You will catch me on a poker table, though.
Nice.
That's all I can tell you.
Now, I know you had mentioned that New Orleans is actually blowing up in terms of film. I think you said something that it's actually right behind Los Angeles now. I mean, tell us a little bit about that. I had no idea.
Yes, it's moving on up. It's right behind Los Angeles, like you said. They're shooting tons of movies down there, series. Treme, I think they just shot the last Vampires movie. What's that? What's the big movie?
Oh, Twilight?
Twilight.
Is that one down there?
They just shot that down there. They just shot Freelancers. And, I keep hearing it's blowing up. I keep seeing people around me, all in New Orleans area with film trucks and casting. So...
Well, they could pick worse places to film, I would imagine. It's pretty great. So, and I know we had been talking about that there's just the amount of local talent that's down there. You had actually mentioned something about just the amount of talent that's local that you just listen to in terms of not knowing national acts. I mean, it's got to be incredible just
it's inspiring. It's very inspiring. You walk down the streets of New Orleans, downtown, and, from anywhere between just entrepreneurs, people just making something out of themselves, whether they're playing an instrument, they're singing, they're talking, they're acting, they're modeling, whatever they're doing something to make something of themselves. So I have to give a lot of credit to those people that, that can pick up that instrument that they put together themselves and turn it into something big. Yeah,
it's really original. It has got to be inspiring. So.
It's very original. The culture down south is amazing. I definitely recommend visiting New Orleans if you haven't.
I concur. Well, now you're not originally from New Orleans per se. You're actually from a little town called
Laplace.
Yes.
Right on the outskirts of New Orleans. That's where I grew up. So
that's spelled Laplace for you folks up here. But so that's kind of like a little suburb, so to speak, of New Orleans?
Yes, it's right, like I said, right on the outskirts of New Orleans. They call us river rats because we're right there. So,
but that's not necessarily, what is it, 10 miles? They
count it as 10 miles because it's right over a bridge. Like I was telling you before the interview, everything here is country roads. Down south, it's all, bridges take us because there's big bodies of water in between. New Orleans is all under sea level, so that's all we have down there is, bridges to get us from one place to another.
So just take the bridge, not the road.
Yeah, take the bridge, stay on the bridge, or take a boat. A lot of people get around by boats down there.
That's true. Well, you know, back to your work experience. I know that you had, we were talking about you were working on the Hooters International calendar. Tell us a little bit about that. I really was intrigued by that story you were talking about with troops that had gotten in touch with you. I thought that was a pretty great story to discuss.
I no longer work for Hooters, first off, but I did work for Hooters for 4 years, up into 2010. Right a few months before I retired from Hooters, I got a letter in the mail from the troops that had said that they had picked 2 girls out of the entire calendar that they wanted to send a shout out to the managers and also the girl to let them know that thank you for the inspiring, words, and also the picture from us that's just letting them know what they're fighting for over here for their women and for their families and everything else that comes along with America. And so it was very inspiring to hear something from somebody that I look and respect so much, just to look at me and say thanks, for something so simple, something that I enjoy doing, something I'm passionate about. They open that calendar and they see me and they send me, the thank you all the way from Afghanistan. So that made me feel very good. That's what keeps me going.
Yeah, well, I can understand. I mean, especially something from all the way around the world, somebody contacting you directly, we get somebody from, outside of Indianapolis saying, hey, nice radio show. It's a big boost, But you were talking about even international fans, now that you've got your own website set up and everything. What's the story behind that? I mean, do you get contacted by a lot of people from outside the United States?
Yes, I do. Well, recently I started to. As I'm building this up, recently started to get international fans, and it's been so fun listening to somebody that's all the way around the world. One particularly, I guess they were watching ESPN Fox and they saw the Hooters International pageant, and he said, I asked him where he was from. He said he had watched me on TV and he was from Panama. And I'm like, oh yeah, I go to spring break in Panama. And he's like, oh no, the country of Panama. So to hear somebody that's all the way in the country of Panama across the world and, guess turned on their ESPN Sports and checked out the Hooters International pageant and found me, and to go on the internet and search for me throughout Facebook and everything else just to contact me and say, hey, I really liked watching you on air, so I want to get a hold of you and now stay in touch. Yeah, well,
it shows that it's working. I mean, what you're trying to do is actually bearing some fruit. It's great. So.
I got my foot in the door, and that's all I need. I'm very hands-on with everything I do. I love talking. I don't call them fans. I call them friends because I get to know people. I'm like I just said, I'm very hands-on with everything, so I contact everybody myself. That's a big thing. A lot of people hand it over to somebody else and, hey, do all my work for me. But no, with my Twitter account, with my Facebook, I talk to everybody. I will answer everybody back as long as they're respectful. If not, that little Southern hospitality comes out of me,